Hello and welcome to the Enthusiasm Project. My name is Tom, and today I have someone to my left who is laughing at me, and her name is Heather, who is now back after a couple weeks of just not being in here when I was recording.
You say the hello the exact same way every time.
I know, and I don't know how to stop.
Hello.
Hello. Well, today we have quite the special podcast because this is one of those ones where we actually did a thing that we say we should do all the time and we never do, which is we have these conversations.
Yes.
And we have these discussions.
Yes.
And when we're done with them, we go, oh my gosh, this should have been recorded. This should have been a podcast. This should have been a vlog. And we were in the middle of getting into that with one of these discussions. And we decided at the same time, this should be a thing. So then I came in here and turned everything on and we pressed record. So that's kind of what we're talking about today, but I think it's going to be kind of an interesting discussion because essentially Heather is at, I don't know what you would call it.
Crossroads.
I guess a crossroads for her business. And she was asking for feedback from me, which is always interesting because I don't own my own business. I feel like I'm entrepreneurial minded, but I definitely don't have like the same stakes as someone who has to pay their bills and stuff with their own business. And so it's always funny to me to provide my feedback. But at the same time, you know, it's valuable. I know you. I'm a smart enough guy. And then to see how the struggles of someone who's starting their own business is always really interesting. So with that being said, do you want to give us some context?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I am at a point in my business where I was primarily service-based and having a fantastic 2019. Like, I've been making the most money I've ever made since I started this journey. And that was mostly because I just took on a bunch of new clients, really built up my network. People were referring me. I was doing good work. And it's just, you know, I started to even like talk to Tom about like, hey, maybe I should just start some kind of agency where I hire people to do more service-based stuff and content creation, social media marketing and stuff like that. But I've realized that I don't want to do that anymore. I really like helping people, but there's a cap to, you know, what you can get from service-based work because you're limited by the amount of time that you have.
It's like hours in a day.
Exactly. And you could definitely scale up by scaling up your prices, but at some point you're going to cap yourself out because you can't compete with agencies. So there's totally a cap when it comes to service, and services are tricky because every client is different and everything is so customized and no day looks the same. And, you know, for someone who's really trying to scale so that I have more time to dedicate to other things like digital literacy and our event and all of these other things like that, you know, I think I mentioned this in the last podcast. Like I didn't quit my job in marketing to just start a new job in marketing.
Right.
But I do want to help people in what I'm good at, which is social media marketing and online branding. So basically my crossroads that I'm getting to is like, how do I really scale my business, which is to productize, to offer something online, to leverage the fact that I am digital media savvy, that I have a social media marketing background, blah, blah, blah.
Well, because if you offer something online, you're not limited by time. So if it's a product, a course, a membership, whatever, almost like infinite number of people could buy it basically. And they could buy it at any time. And it kind of is sort of magical in a way, but also getting that working is tough. So you came to me today.
Yes.
And you said, I need some feedback on a thing. And I said, okay, what is the feedback that you need? And then you were talking about last year you did a course, an online course, Zero to YouTube Hero, where it was to teach people how to tell their stories through video using YouTube. And you put a lot of time and effort into that course, but you weren't seeing the results that you wanted to see in terms of sales.
So to truly productize a service in a way where you're trying to make something that is customized into something that's more one size fits all, but also feels like it's an experience where it's personal is a tricky dance. It's hard to figure that out. And I think I'm a good teacher. I think I'm good at like training and all of that. So, you obviously helped me. You were my first student who graduated from my online course, Zero to YouTube Hero, which is technically my second one. But, I made it when I first moved here to the Coachella Valley, and I've just learned so much in the past year that if I were to remake the exact same thing, it would be 1,000 times better.
But it's
not
still,
to say,
the first one was still
not
good,
to say that
though.
it wasn't good. I mean, I have turned to it several times for reference, for even for my own thing, so many times. So I love the course, but my question to you today was like, I can do everything, but it's about prioritizing, knowing that I'm at a point where I'm like not quitting, but not renewing my client contracts. So
you don't want to keep on any clients, or you just want to keep clients on limited, or what would be an ideal situation?
I don't know. It really depends on like if there's a client that I really, 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 really want to work with. And I think I have worked with enough clients to know which one that is. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So here was the thing. You gave me those two options. Do I focus on a course? Do I focus on a membership thing, which would basically people pay something like $30 a month, so it comes out to like $1 a day, and you have like weekly meetings, kind of like group coaching sessions, and
yeah. So basically, it would be basically like group coaching. So anybody could join this, and it's a dedicated 1 hour a week for time with me where I can where I not only am teaching you something, but I'm doing the thing that they are learning, which is planning social media content for businesses and for marketing and for branding and
then they
like
work on it throughout the week, and it's kind of also like accountability then, which I guess that's what a coach does.
Accountability, community, a place to ask questions, a place to get feedback, all of that in the comfort of your own home.
Right. So when you asked me which one to focus on, I asked you, are you leaning towards either one? And you said, no, I'm not. That's why I want the feedback. And I said, okay. And I said, from my point of view, I would recommend going towards a course first because it seems like a clear product, people buy it. And you said, well, I wasn't really happy with how things went with the last course once I was finished with it. So I'm a little like, scarred from that experience and trying something different. And I said, okay, but my logic behind that was it would be easier to get people into a membership thing if you develop the course, get some happy customers, continue to build and revamp your own personal online brand, and then people would sign up. People would just be more apt to sign up to something because it's just a bigger existing brand. But this is where we started to have discussions and where I started saying I have all the thoughts, and then you said we should record.
So
this.
Here's the thing, like I can go either way. Honestly, this morning when I was talking to Chris about it, my accountability partner, I came to the conclusion that I would just flip a coin by the end of the day and move forward.
Well, ultimately, you'll probably do both too, right?
There is no right or wrong. Exactly. There's no right or wrong, and I will do both. So it's just about like, what do I want to do first? And the thing with the online course is you say that, you could kind of use that as the leverage to funnel into the membership. Now you have a community, but that's counting on the fact that I get customers in the first place, and which I didn't have I did not have this with Zero to YouTube Hero. People who actually graduated from the damn thing and sung the praises of it. I had one person.
But can't you say the same thing for the membership? Like,
but with the membership, it's like I start delivering immediately. Like I can tell, I can get that feedback right away. Whereas like the course, yeah, they can take it, but aside from emailing them and just being like, hey, continue, like finish the thing. Like so many people got stuck and did not progress through the whole thing. And of course, like I said, if I were to make it over, there are things where I could tweak to make sure that it's, more approachable to finish. But like, I feel like how many times have I taught workshops? Actually, yesterday was the year anniversary where I taught my first workshop in your classroom.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
June 2nd. But like, how many workshops and trainings and all of these like speaking things have I hosted
Many per month.
in the past year, where every single time someone wants to work with me, every single time there's a call to action and people are following up on that. And I feel like this, even though there is that $30 price tag, I think that's very approachable. But it's like if you signed up for it on Saturday and say I did my coaching on Sunday nights or something, you can literally get that feedback right like within 24 hours. You go to the thing, you're part of that community right away. I'm giving you value right away. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So here are the thoughts. This is right where I was when we started recording. So we're caught up to where we were. I have 3 thoughts.
3 thoughts.
First thought is I have seen immense development from last year, because what you would have done this time last year is you would have not even hesitated to think about doing both these things at once. And you would have said, I'm going to do this online course, and I'm also going to have this membership thing that people can sign up for. And you would have been spreading yourself super duper thin while also maintaining the client, like the client projects that you do have. So I think it's huge that you recognize, just as a business owner, time management person, that you need to focus on a thing and go with it. So I think that's huge. Second, talking about one of the things you said about Zero to YouTube Hero was it was really hard and people kept getting stuck, and it was, it was hard to kind of target someone because they come in, do they have experience, do they not have experience, they need to go through editing, should you have included this, should you have not included that. And I think that goes into something that you had talked to me earlier about, which is Zero to YouTube Hero. There should be multiple courses. It shouldn't be, and ultimately, like, that's what it should really come down to. It shouldn't be like this one beast of a thing that's trying to cover every possible scenario, from someone who's never filmed with a camera to someone who has a ton of experience but doesn't know how to set up a YouTube channel. There should be separate paths for everyone. Maybe there's like basic channel setup, there's SEO, there's content strategy, whatever. Like, I mean, there could be a whole school, like, should be a thing. So I think, and that makes it a bigger project, but I think that was one way to look at it. And the membership thing seems really neat to me, but the thing that I was concerned about genuinely was that when I asked you which one do you want to do, and you're like, I don't know, either one, and you didn't really seem super excited about either one. I think that's because of the conflict, like, which do I choose? But what I see is somebody who is their own boss and is feeling like they have to choose between 2 things that aren't, like, why aren't you doing something that is the thing that you're like, I feel like one of these things should either be the thing, or there should be another the thing that is the thing. Because otherwise, why be your own boss? Like, if your job is something you don't want to do.
It's more of like, I want to do, like, both of these things are the thing. Because I've already ruled out like, I could have done service things. I've already ruled that I freaking canceled a client today. Like, I'm ruling things out that I don't want to do and leaving cash on the table very
to
knowingly.
Focus on these.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, which I don't know where to go from there, because I don't see. I think that there should be a clear thing. I still think a course is the way to go, even if it's a simplified version, just because it's constantly there. I feel like membership things, I've been a part of a couple, never coaching, but like some Patreons, some like when YouTube had community membership things, which they kind of got rid of, or a lot of people closed theirs down. We're sort of like Patreon, but on YouTube for certain channels. And I've seen them not work out because they weren't ready to be launched. And that's sad. And I don't want you to launch a thing and then be like $30 a month and there's 1 or 2 people there and it's kind of the same 2 people and they don't show up after 2 weeks, and then like maybe they forget to just cancel their thing and they pay every month.
I'm pretty confident that I would get more than 2 people.
Well, and I don't mean that as a dig. Like down the line, both these things I believe are going to be successful. I think that you would have to end up capping your membership, like because there's just too many people to help, or hiring help to help them, like a discounted rate where it's instead of you, it's these people.
Okay, so here's my thing, right? Like I think with Zero, well, not Zero to YouTube Hero, but an online school is just, it's so, okay. Here's the kicker. And I think you helped me make the decision towards the coaching versus the course, because here's the thing. With Zero to YouTube Hero, I had no feedback.
Right.
I was creating a course that I felt would be the most helpful to every person on earth, which is why it served nobody. Now I have a lot more experience and I could make a better course. That still does not solve the problem of like, who is this course for and how are you helping this specific person? Which is why the conclusion is to build a whole school with multiple courses for multiple paths, for multiple types of people. Whereas in the coaching membership model, we can have one group coaching session with 2 people and I get instant feedback of, Heather, could you please teach us about this next week? Yes, I would love to. Boom, I move in that direction immediately. Immediately, my product continues to provide value to these people and will every single time I host a session.
And then you would spend the next week.
Yeah, working on
focusing
that thing. And I've seen this work because of my client that I do the monthly coaching with. They literally give me the subject for the next session.
So how would that work in a group setting? Like, I mean, 1 or 2 people is pretty easy, but what if it were like 10 people?
Well, so see, this is great that I have that client because typically there's 10 to 15 people who show up to this. I have a client that basically contracts me to do group coaching about online branding. So basically like what I want to do, but I'm doing it under their company. And for 10 to 15 people, honestly, I show up with an agenda based on the previous meeting. It's like about 25 minutes long. And then
you said yours would be an hour, the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and this is an hour as well. So my points are about 25 minutes long and then it just goes to Q&A. And then
what if there are no Q's to A?
Then I just open up something and talk about something else. And then I try to give a variety of topics where it does end up stimulating a discussion.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
When someone asks something, it usually.
Then it just goes. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, people don't know what they don't know. So that's why I kind of try to cover a variety of things.
Okay.
And I love doing it. And people, I mean, honestly, I think mine is one of the most like well attended out of the other.
The feedback's been really good.
Yeah.
So what would so then it sounds like the decision has been made.
Sorry, I'm laughing because my boyfriend is the best. That's all.
There we go. I'll play the drum sound effect.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
do you understand? I
get
feel
it.
I'm laughing. I'm amused because I can't imagine what it's like to just see this insane person juggling 1,000 things in her head, and she's only shedding light to like a percentage of everything that's going on. And you're just like, okay, you do you, boo boo, and I'll be right here when you need me.
Well, right, but I mean that's the case. Everybody does that in some way or another. Like all humans do that. But what irks me the most, or where I get the most concerned, is where I see you acting like you have a boss.
Yeah.
And you do, it's you, but that means like if you're looking at 2 options and you're like, I don't like either of these options, then get a different option. That's the thing where you said you didn't quit a job in marketing to just get a job in marketing for like with less security and stability. Like it should be something you're excited about. And if this is something that you're excited about and that you believe in, then that's a good thing to focus on. And I think that that's really important.
Right. I think really, okay, so I think what I needed from you is that I have all the pieces in my head, but I haven't put them together. So I need to put them together and just say it out loud and get the feedback from somebody, which is you.
Well, the feedback is, I think that's the deciding factor. What you just said about you did the course, there's no feedback, versus this, you get immediate feedback right away. And then everything you're learning from doing the coaching sessions could build into whenever you design a course or multiple courses.
It's completely catered to that.
Now there's a little more light on how these things are all connected.
Yes.
Which is kind of important.
Yes.
So then.
So if you want to sign up for my new group coaching situation.
There's literally no way to do it right now because it
There
doesn't
is
quite
no way
exist
to-
yet. So what? But how do you? So okay, going back to what we said at the beginning, maybe there's somebody listening to this who is starting their own thing, wants to start their own thing. They have an idea. You have an idea. What do you do next to bring it to fruition so someone could actually sign up and then, how do you get it started? Like, what do you do now?
My thing?
Yeah. Like, what are you going to do now, I guess I should say?
Well, the first thing is to actually write it down from start to finish. Like, what is the customer journey from not knowing what the product is at all to discovering my brand, to discovering the service that I offer, to signing up for it.
How would
literally
people,
like payment, like all of that.
how are they going to find out about it? I'm sure there's 1,000 ways you can't predict, but
Yeah. So that would be like the marketing plan that I still have yet to do. But some ideas that I have are to do an Instagram live every week as kind of like a sneak preview. I have my newsletter. I have my social media content. I'm planning to do YouTube tutorials. So they're going to be coming from a variety of ways. And it's really just making sure that all of the content is consistently showcasing what I offer and what I stand for, and then obviously plugging in like, hey, here's how you can get more of me.
so it's kind of like when you do the workshops locally, where you talked about those earlier, where you do these workshops, you just do a thing because you're trying to help people and you're, doing your part, but then afterwards people see it and they're like, oh, this is really cool. I want you to help me with blank. And that's sort of like how potential clients show up. This is almost the same thing. Then you're just giving people an opportunity to see what you're doing. And then hopefully they go like, oh, cool. Like I need her to help me with blank. And then they actually can get that help, but you are much more in control of the scenario. You're sort of eliminating the nightmare client situation that could occur.
Yeah. And I still, will offer private coaching. So if people want to do one-on-one at like $100 an hour, yeah, let's do it on a Zoom call. But like today, I had to go all the way to Rancho Mirage, man.
Which is like 25 minutes away.
Yeah. For a 15-minute meeting.
Right. It's not efficient.
Yes.
When you're busy with 1,000 other things.
And of course, I'm only going to charge the 15 minutes, and that was just the straw. That was the last straw. I've had a lot of last straws this past week, and I just...
Can't you only have one last straw?
Go ahead, drum roll. I just, you know what? It really is important to me, especially with the summer coming up, with all these things happening for you. Like, I feel like there's such a good momentum for us as this digital literacy couple to propel into a thing that no one else can make. And I really want to make time for that. And I don't want to waste my time on these I have to drive 30 minutes for a 15-minute meeting. Like, not cool, man.
Or clients that don't pay. And
yes, like people who pay like 2 months late, and I am totally accommodating, no problem. I'm not going to, not help you out. I'm just going to complain about it to Tom and the entire world on a podcast, but
you're not, but those are real things. You're dealing with clients.
Yeah, so, when it comes to if someone is kind of going through what I'm going through, maybe you're starting something and maybe you're trying to go into the world of freelancing. I mean, these are things that people will tell you, but I just had to learn the hard way. There was no other way for me to learn it. And now that I have, I don't want to do more of this.
Do you know what platform the coaching thing would take, or how would that work? I know literally you don't have it set up yet because
I'm going to stick with what I know. So my coaching is going to be done on Facebook groups. It's just going to be a private Facebook group.
Okay.
And the payment portal is just probably going to be like a PayPal or Stripe.
Okay.
So you go to a web page, you put in your credit card information. I get the information that you bought. I get your email. I add you on the Facebook group, and done.
Okay.
If you want the archive of videos, it's all there in the Facebook group.
And they're just in it until they choose not to be in it.
Yes. And that, obviously that's something I need to make sure. If you cancel your membership, then I have to take you out of the group.
So you have to do that manually. Like you have to, which means you just are always aware of who's in the group and who's not in the group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually something, hopefully the membership pays enough where I can hire someone to do that kind of moderation.
Right.
So I just show up and do my thing. But yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, do you feel any sense of resolution?
I do.
Or peace?
I didn't quite put the pieces together until I talked it out with you.
That's what this podcast is for.
But even I don't even know why it didn't occur to me. I already do this for a client who
Well, it didn't
literally
occur to me
pays
either.
me
I didn't
$100 an hour.
I didn't say that. I was like, you should just be doing something cool.
I love what I do. I
know
love
you do.
it, So here's the exciting part. Since a lot of the membership is going to be live streaming based,
Yes.
this is my opportunity to invest in some programs and apps and tools to take our live streaming show for ShareSpark TV to the next level, since we'll be using the same stuff.
Oh, nice. So then I benefit.
Yes.
That's what really matters.
That's
what this show is all about.
This podcast.
I mean, that just one thing leads into other things,
Yeah.
Everything is connected. Circle of life, yin and yang, everything the light touches.
Yeah. So how do you feel knowing where my mind was? And
I feel good.
does it make sense?
Yes, that's the biggest thing for me is now I understand where you're coming from and why you're going there, and I think that it's good. I do think obviously I think a lot of it kind of reminds me of, and again, I only know the parts that you share. I don't know everything else that's going on in the brain, but it reminds me of starting a YouTube channel where you're like, oh, I'm just going to start my channel and I'm not going to pay attention to views, but secretly you're like, I know my first video is going to go viral, and then your first video super does not go viral. And you're kind of like, oh, okay. And then you got to get into the grind of working it out. And, I think that it's important to remember, you put your heart and soul into Zero to YouTube Hero. It's better than, I haven't seen a lot of online courses, but it's better than basically all the ones I have seen. And that doesn't mean that it sold really well. And so, I think that with consistency and with effort, you would definitely literally reach a point where you would have to cap the memberships just because you couldn't serve the people that were signing up. Not that they wouldn't want to, but you can't have 1,000 people in the meeting because
Jasmine does.
I mean, you could, but it depends on what you're doing. Are you going to really be benefiting? Maybe you are. Maybe it's up to them. But point being, it's going to take a while to get there.
But see, even with Zero to YouTube Hero, if I already know I'm going to make something better, I should just put that up as a free thing.
Yeah, why not? It is literally sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, and you might as well just...
It is excellent. Or break it down into the little, the modules, and at least, not necessarily the whole 8-unit course, but
right.
What if you notice that a lot of people are asking the same question that's covered in a module? Share that thing.
That should just be its own course or something, yeah.
Yeah. That would be... Because there's so much credibility to be established with that. It's so well done.
I know.
And it's got to be doing something.
I know, it's just sitting there. What a shame.
Yeah. And eventually, if YouTube changes their UI or something too much, then it just becomes out of date. So,
but even that's just level 1, the other 7 modules are
But you know what I mean?
Eventually
it's going to hit a point where you're it'd be like if you made it 10 years ago and you were like, get your mini DV tape out and do this. And you're like, oh, crap. Even if the thing still applies, there's just a certain datedness you don't want to have.
Yeah.
If it's 2020, I might not want to sign up for a YouTube course from 2017 or 2018.
I know. See? So that's why I'm already a year old with this thing.
Yeah. Even though the info is still exactly the same. But if you double down on the storytelling and content strategy
oh my
part
gosh.
of it.
So that should just be part of the campaign. I just saw Tom scramble his hand to the soundboard to make sure he pushed the right sound effect as soon as possible. That was the best.
Well, you had a realization,
And the thing is, I'm not wearing headphones, so I don't hear it.
You
I don't
will
even
hear
know what sound it was.
You will hear it when you listen to this podcast.
Because I will listen to it again.
Right. I know. That's
multiple times.
I know. I'm saying this specifically for future Heather because I think there's things she needs to hear
Wait,
when
what
she
was I
listens to
saying?
this.
I forgot.
You
Why did you
were
push it?
talking about you had a realization of
Oh,
how
yeah, the
it
campaign.
plays into the campaign.
So if my flagship product is going to be this membership group coaching situation, then part of the campaign can be, hey, I'm releasing my new free online course.
Right.
Go check it out to get your basics all caught up and then meet me in the group coaching.
Perfect.
Oh, I'm so excited.
See, now you're excited. You were sitting there like sad.
Well, see, Tom, oh, poor thing.
It's what we do on this show.
He's so great because honestly, I don't even know when something's bothering me, but Tom can tell because I don't know. Apparently, everything about my demeanor is like, but I don't even know what's bothering me. See, but now that I don't know, like I realize that this is bothering me. I don't know if I'm making sense anymore.
Yeah, well, it's very easy to tell when something is weighing on your mind. And that can be positive, that can be negative, but like yesterday I was editing a video and you were like, "Oh man, like I can tell I wasn't planning to finish the video yesterday, but I hit that point where I was like, like the finish line is in sight, I can do this." And you said like everything about you changes when you realize like
you could finish,
do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. Like
I know, but I hope you know that I'm not like withholding knowledge of
I know.
feelings. I just don't. I really don't even know what's bothering me.
Which is why we got to talk through it and figure it out.
There you go. Communication in relationships.
Also, just in life. I don't have that one.
Oh. Well, so good call on pushing record.
Good. I'm glad we pushed
I'm
record.
glad that I could listen to this again.
Yes. So hi, future Heather.
Hi.
You're great.
So are you, past Tom.
Now, let's jump in real quick since I've done a few updates on my own about this event that we talked about last time you were here, and you were on the show several. This is episode number 16.
Ooh.
I know. And you were here way back in the single digits, the early double digits, and now that it's 16,
Whoa.
I've been giving updates on our event, talking about that, but you're here. So what are your thoughts, especially having gone through like my film festival at school, which I talked about on a past episode?
You want me to be perfectly honest with you?
Tell me.
I'm worried, man. I feel like we're so behind schedule. And I honestly haven't thought of it because, I mean, it was a whole, like the last time we talked about this, we were supposed to get a venue. We didn't get a venue for a month. Now we have a possible venue, but it's a completely different structure than what I was envisioning. And we haven't sat down and talked about it this entire time. And you've been going through all these things. I've been going through all these things. It's been low on the priority ladder. And now it's like a whole 2 months has gone by.
Perfect. I think that's the best because now we're reducing our chances of over planning, which is awful. It's almost as bad as not planning.
Yeah, but no. Okay, so no. I don't want to overplan, but I also don't want to just throw something together. I think you can do that. I think you have the ability to pull off that magic with your students in your classroom when everything is under your control. But, you know, speaking from someone who's had to market to people I've never met before, like, of course, we can make an event where everyone we know is going to be there, but that's not the point.
Right.
You know, and I think that it is going to take a strategy to make sure that the right people go so that they benefit from it and then can talk about it, you know?
Yeah. And I think I mentioned this on a different episode. Basically, we had a venue that we were interested in, and even though it's likely available, just like contact was terrible and we couldn't get through to it at all. And one of our other, I don't know what you would call people that we know, who has like a really cool venue, actually a cooler venue, but a significantly smaller venue.
Like, how small are we talking in terms of attendance?
65, 70?
Oh, I was thinking 20.
No, I mean, still like, you know, it honestly depends because it's
Is there seating?
Yeah, it's an art center, but it just depends what exhibits are up, what isn't up, which is why they were asking when we wanted to do it, because then they can schedule what is up. So if there's a big, expensive art piece in the middle, you know how like
right.
It's like a working art center / studio / gallery, and so there's parts of it where people are building all like every kind of art you can think of, but there's also like a gallery space. And if you've been to a museum, you'll know that sometimes there's a huge room that just has one thing sitting on a pedestal or something. That's a lot of square footage, but you can't use it if that one thing is sitting on a pedestal in the
Right.
middle of it. And so the more that we define dates that we're interested in, the more they can go, don't put the thing on the pedestal there. And that changes how many people, but about 60 to 70 with AV, everything that we need, and seating. Plus, it's super,
I mean,
super,
is the AV like legit?
it should be good. If not, I have stuff to, I have AV that is legit. I just don't want to have to move it, but it's not a problem to move it. So that's covered. It is a single room, whereas the other one could have been multiples. But in a way, I think that that's fine, especially if we were talking about doing like a half-day event. And so, I mean, in my head, what I'm envisioning is already like an environment and a setting. Like we've already gotten these restrictions, which are forming it. And I think that's good.
Yeah, of course. We need to narrow it down.
Yeah. So now it comes to, because at one point we were talking about entertainment and who do we do lighting and audio, and it's like
I still want that though.
you can still have parts of that, and the first thing is gonna be small. Like there's no, it doesn't like it needs to be. It needs to show that there's something there, and it's not all flash, and then it grows. I think that's really, really important. I'm not worried at all.
No, I'm not worried either.
You said like a minute ago you're like super worried.
Well, I'm not worried. I mean, okay. Here's what I'm worried about. I want to go big. I know you want to be realistic and go slow, and this is where, I think a lot of our relationship is. I'm this optimistic, completely like dream big. Oh my gosh, we're going to tackle the world. And you are like, okay, what makes the most logical, minimalistic sense for the most maximized effort? That's what we're going to do. Like, we're not going to do any extra planning than we have to. And all
That's
of
not
that.
true. I mean, that's not true at all. I know I would totally not agree with that. I would I would completely throw it out the window, because I know that you said that like the event that I had for my program, which is my students, they're a captive audience that already has buy-in.
Yeah, they're like super invested. It's their freaking work. Like, come on.
But even that right there, you had lights, you had sound, you had programming, you had food, you had all that stuff, which was just me with no budget and no time even put into it.
I am not questioning our ability to put on an event. The event itself is going to be amazing. The thing I'm worried about is the attendance. We can do me and you will make whatever we create is amazingly awesome. But
so I mean, because you said you wanted to go big into it, but I mean, getting 50 people to go to an event that's like super cool? I don't think that's in season. We're talking about October when it's it's not 1,000,000 degrees and everybody's gone. I mean, that's real. We do need to start telling people about it sooner rather than later, for sure.
I mean, so I think you're going on summer vacation next week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pick up the planning. I really want to have a made for more documentary style. I mean, I love doing the podcast too, but I want to I feel like I need to vlog it.
Yeah, so vlog it. I mean, I think this is another thing too, because you showed me a vlog today, which has not been published yet. It probably has been by the time you're listening to this, but as of right now, I'm the only person that's seen it besides Heather, which is all about my Teacher of the Year thing. And you vlog like the whole day of getting the announcement and all that stuff, which was that whole conversation we had on Share Spark was the last podcast episode. But yes. I was so grateful that you did that, because it's such a good video and it's such a good it's such a good documentation of a thing, of a really important thing. And I think
because that honestly, forget everything else. The thing that matters to me is when we're old and 80 years old sitting on our deathbeds together, that we have that for our relationship. Why are we dying at the
same time?
I don't know. But I mean, we have that to share.
Yes.
That we can remember that together.
Yeah. And
that first and foremost is the most important thing.
And I know you've been in a revamp mode for your YouTube channel, but that really reminded me of the power of when you were starting your entrepreneurial journey and you were just documenting.
Yeah.
How do I get this business license? How do I do this? How do I do that? That had that vibe in it of like there's a thing happening and I just need to like share my experience in experiencing it. I think that was really cool. And that's all that needs to be done with this, and I think that it would just come out so well. And it doesn't, it doesn't require a separate film crew or anything.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's for next year.
So I feel like homework is to, like, we need to write down everything we need to figure out and then talk about it.
Yes.
Because like you were like X-nay on the entertainment. Okay, fine, but are we just gonna be on stage for 3 hours?
No. I didn't say X-nay on the entertainment, but I mean like there's a big difference between like, hey, check it out. There's gonna be like a couple local bands or a DJ or something versus a lighting crew and like union workers and stuff. Like this is just scale and scope, not necessity.
Yeah, but that's what we need to talk about because I don't even know. I don't know what you're picturing in your head. I saw the Made for More documentary, so I was like, oh snap, that's what I want to do.
Well, see, this is why I think that it's good because you need restraint and restrictions and confinement in order to make something, and having deadlines, having a space with limitations. Any space is going to have limitations. So when you figure out what it is, boom. Now you're limited by that. Okay, cool. Now we know the size. Now we know what's going to look best here. Now, like it starts to just take shape on its own, and then you kind of play in and poke it and prod it in the way that you want it to go.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good place to be.
And obviously we'll have a lot more time.
Right.
Next week. Yeah.
Right. So how do you feel now?
I'm very excited.
What should we call this episode? Because I need a title.
I have no idea.
I have no idea with Heather Just Cruising. Episode 16.
I don't know. I'm bad at that.
Okay, I thought you'd have something like transformative based on your experience.
My creative juices are all zapped out right now.
Okay, well, I'm glad you feel better.
Me too. Thank you.
All right. Where can people find you if they want to know more or see how you're doing with your
Heather Just Create
on all of the things?
On all of the things.
All righty. Well, then with that being said, I'm at Sodarn Tom on all of the things, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.